What's up, folks? My name is Justin Freed, and I'm joined today by Oregon State offensive lineman Brandon Kipper. Brandon, what's going on, man? How you doing?
What's going on, man? I appreciate you having me on. Just looking forward to this.
Of course, dude. Hey, I appreciate you taking the time. Like I was saying, I know it's a super busy time for you. First of all, how has the whole pre-draft process been for you? What's this experience been like?
Oh, man. I mean, when you've been doing this for as long as I have, this is the dream, right? To be in the position I'm in. It's been a hell of a ride thus far. I'm sure it's just getting started. I got married 2 weeks ago, so throwing that into this whole process has been kind of hectic, but it's been a great experience, man. I mean, I'm kind of just taking it day by day, enjoying the moment. Obviously, in this process, a lot of things are out of your control. So it's just controlling what you can control, being the best you can be every day. And yeah,
Hell yeah, man. I mean, first of all, congratulations on getting married, dude. That is
thanks.
awesome that happened. It's like you said, that's a lot to be dealing with right now.
Yeah.
But it's a very exciting time for sure. Uh, let's talk a little bit about before you got to Oregon State, right? Now, you were a very accomplished wrestler in high school, a two-time state champ, a district champ. What made you want to start getting into wrestling? How did that happen?
Oh man, I actually, so in sixth grade, they had like a announcement on the school like intercom stating there was tryouts for wrestling team. And being a dumb sixth grader who was a big fan of Jeff Hardy and Triple H, I thought it was WWE wrestling, right? So me and my friend go to this like little meeting after school for the wrestling team. Very quickly found out it wasn't that kind of wrestling. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I sucked. I hated it at the beginning. My mom kind of had a rule that I had to be in a sport year round. And so it was wrestling or basketball. And so I tried basketball, made the C team in sixth grade as the tallest kid in my school. Realized very quickly that it wasn't a sport for me. So I figured it, give the whole wrestling thing a shot. Wasn't good at it at the beginning, but I grew to appreciate wrestling because it was one of those things that nobody's good at when they start. Um, my school, middle school, my high school weren't good at football. They were wrestling schools and like to the T wrestling schools. And so I was fortunate enough to have a really great coach who kind of shaped me and was a father figure for me for many years of my life and kind of kept me in the sport, kept me believing that I was going to be capable of achieving great things in the sport and out of the sport. Yeah, I mean, it feels like a lifetime ago, but at the same time, it feels like yesterday. I was getting my hand raised at state, All American in USA Wrestling Magazine, all this and that. And yeah, I mean, it was a great thing for me. It really molded my personality, I think, in a lot of ways.
That's how it goes, man. And that you know what's funny? I for like a week in middle school tried out for wrestling for the exact same reason as you. I was a big WWE fan, and I was like, "This,
Yeah.
I
Hey,
want to, I want to do that too." And then I was like, "Oh, this is not that at
I
all."
I was trying to swanton bomb somebody, bro, off the
Right.
top
And
rope.
then, yeah, and then they're like, "Get down on your knee," and then I was like, "Wait, what is going on?
Yeah.
This is not it."
Yeah.
Do you still keep up with WWE?
Oh no, no.
Yeah.
I think after I joined the wrestling team, I figured out what real wrestling was, and I was like, "Oof,
Right.
those guys, they don't got nothing on these guys." So no, I don't really keep up in WWE anymore. Plus, they got all pansy, man. I miss the days when there was blood everywhere. And
They
yeah,
went PG. They went
they
PG. I mean,
went PG. They went family friendly. I used to have to beg my mom to let me watch Hell in a Cell. They don't. That stuff's not gruesome anymore.
yeah, not anymore. Hey, look, there's a lot of former football players who are in WWE. Is that something that
Yeah,
you want to do at some point, maybe in your life after football? Maybe.
no, no. I actually, one of my former teammates at Oregon State just signed a contract with the WWE. We were talking about it like
Awesome.
a few weeks ago with some of the guys, and we were laughing about it. No, that's not something for me. I respect the hell out of guys who do it because they are athletes, but no, that's not me.
It's fair enough. The Jeff Hardy days, the dreams of being Jeff Hardy is probably over.
Yeah, and I don't think you could swanton bomb somebody off the top rope when you're 300 pounds. So
Probably wouldn't be great for the guy you're landing on. I wouldn't think so.
probably not. I don't think it'd be great for me.
That also, yeah, that's a good point. Do you think your wrestling background helps you at all? Being an offensive lineman.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've always said wrestling was the greatest thing I ever did for my football career. More than anything I've ever done football wise, wrestling, not just the physical tools. Like people who've wrestled and play football, they'll tell you taught me leverage. There's a lot of physical, tangible skills that can apply to it, but for me, it was the mentality. I mean, I've been playing college football for 6 years now at a very high level, aspiring to do it at the NFL level, and I've never ever experienced anything in football that has been as mentally and physically demanding as wrestling was. My high school team, like I said, we were really good. We were top 25 for I think 3 of the 4 years I was in high school, top 25 in the country. We were a really good team. And my coach was a national, like he won national coach of the year, high level dude. And so we were competing at a very high level at a very young age. And so the those 2 hour grind matches, those practices, I mean, the things that we used to do, I remember thinking in the moment were there's no one that could be possibly doing what I'm doing now. Like this is crazy. And then you get to the college level and everyone's telling you, okay, like it's gonna be like that in college football. And it wasn't. I mean, like there's hard days in college football, but man, you put like 40 dudes in a little room, crank the heat up and tell them to just go at it for 2 hours wrestling, that's gonna test your will. And so those mental challenges I think really shaped my grit and my mental toughness. And I've been able to apply that, I think, in a lot of facets of my life, not just football, but as a man.
Very cool. Yeah, it's you kind of have that similar like one-on-one mentality, right? Where you're lining up
100%.
against the dude in front of you and you got to beat that dude. It's like one-on-one.
Well, and I think especially I was very fortunate because at Oregon State, our motto up front in the O line was just make it hard, like
Right.
make things difficult for the D linemen because we thrive when it's hard. Like we can handle the adversity, can they? And so that, and we had other wrestlers on the O line, and so that mentality kind of plagued throughout the room. And I think that was very beneficial having that background as a wrestler because like I know what it's like when things get really hard and the mind's telling you you can't do it, you can't do it. I've learned how to do it. I've learned how to fight through it, and so it's nice to be able to test guys and can you get through it? As I know this is like hell right now. I
Yeah.
can get through it. Can you? So
There you go. And you went on to find plenty of success at Oregon State. Before you got there, you originally went to the University of Hawaii for your freshman year. Just decided to transfer after one season. So, what was the thought process behind that decision?
uh, so when I left high school, I mean I was raised my whole life in Idaho, especially being a black kid in a predominantly white area. A big thing for me was I wanted to find something new, get a new perspective on life, and challenge myself culturally, branch out, do something that was going to be difficult for me. And I didn't think I could do anything that would be more difficult than moving 2,400 miles away from home, a whole ocean away, and submerge myself in a completely new culture. That was one of the hardest experiences of my life, but it was also probably the best experience of my life. That year in Hawaii taught me a lot of things about what it means to really be a man. I think when you're 18 and you leave home for college, a lot of kids think that, okay, I'm a grown up now, I'm a man. You're not. You're not. And so having that experience of realizing really quickly, okay, like this is really life on your own is really hard. Like mom's not here. Like this is, I got to figure this out.
Mhm.
Was really, really tough, but it was also a great thing for me. I got the opportunity to play there my true freshman year. And I mean, it was like 255, playing Division I football, played in 11 to 12 games, which is great. Really showed me that I was capable of doing this. I mean, if I can play at this level at 255, then let me get up a couple 40 more pounds and we'll see what we can really do, right? And so after that year, kind of realized that it wasn't going to be the right place for me to grow physically. I'd grown a lot mentally, but those wasn't whole lot of resources for me to kind of develop my body. I'd always been a lighter heavyweight and I'd struggled to gain weight. And so now it was like, okay, if I want to play at a really high level, I'm going to need to put on the muscle mass to do that, right? And so following that year, my offensive line coach had left Hawaii, and so I just really wanted to see what my options were. Fortunately, because I'd played so much, I had film, and so sent my film out to some teams. Was fortunate enough because our defensive line coach at Hawaii and our wide receivers coach at Hawaii had just left and gone to Oregon State. And so once I decided to transfer, they immediately reached out to me, wanted to bring me on over here. Really didn't have any intentions of coming here. I mean, when at that point in time, Oregon State was in a dumpster fire. It just lost their whole coaching staff, hired this new guy, Jonathan Smith. It was not looking like the best spot. But I took my official visit out here just out of respect for Coach Lange and Coach Fentz, those two coaches who left Hawaii. And man, I came out here and met my line coach, met Coach Smith, and the rest is history. Best choice ever made in my life.
There you go. Yeah. And you ended up starting 4 years at Oregon State, too, under Coach Smith. The first 3 of which were spent at right tackle, but then you moved inside to right guard this past year. Why did that move take place, and what was that switch like for you?
Yeah, so following the 21 season, I had gotten some feedback from some teams, just some people who had a good sense of what was going on in the league. And a lot of that feedback was, we want to see what you can do on the inside. We feel like you'd be a good fit in the inside at the next level. We know you can play right tackle, but like if we could get some film of you playing guard, I think that would really help your status as far as draft boards go. And so at the time, I was kind of lingering on whether I want to come back for another year, declare for the draft. I mean, I'm a 5th-year senior at this point. I think everything in me wanted to just be done with college, right? Got my degree, like let's move on. But in all honesty, it was the bowl game that year. We lost to Utah State, and I was in the locker room afterwards. And I sitting there thinking, okay, you know what? I came here to make some changes for this team. I know for a fact that NFL teams want to see me come back for another year. So for me, that makes sense. And I also know for a fact that this team is capable of doing much greater things. So why don't I come back and give them another year and let's see what we can do? And so right then and there, it was a done deal. You know, I'm coming back. Position change was nothing I was worried about. I knew who the new right tackle would be. He was a young kid, super talented. I thought it would be a good opportunity for me to kind of help mentor him on the field, to kind of be there for him, to teach him how I see the game, how I've seen it for 3-4 years at that point. And I mean, he had all the physical gifts, and I think it really worked out in the long run for me to not only get experience in a new position, but to also be there and kind of help a young guy out. And so it was a great opportunity. I'm so happy I did it. Really helped me get a whole new perspective on the game, man. It's crazy. You go from being 5 feet to your right to 5 feet to your left, and the whole game changes. And so it was cool.
Yeah, and then that increased versatility, I'm sure, definitely helps. Like you said, yeah, you got that on your tape. Do you see yourself, or I guess, do NFL teams see you as more of like a guard or a tackle at the next level?
I mean, I've gotten feedback from a lot of teams that they want to see me at guard, but I'm also very confident in my ability to play tackle. I mean, I did it for years. I mean, lived, eaten, breathed it. So it's something that's like riding a bike. It's never going to go away. And so I think having the ability to be a guard tackle swing is something a lot of teams see in me. Is something that I'm constantly trying to show, to prove. I mean, in the NFLPA game this few months ago, I'm trying to play left tackle. I'm playing left guard. I'm playing right guard. I'm playing right tackle. I want to show myself all over the field, show I can do it, at an extremely high level, and I can do it consistently. So hopefully that tape gets in front of teams and they can see that. But I mean, I think I put a lot of good film out there, and I think that's what teams are saying. So.
For sure. And yeah, you just touched on it a moment ago, but I feel like the Oregon State program got better like every year you were there. And it all culminated this past season. You guys won 10 games for the 3rd time in school history. And of course, you went out on top with a blowout win over Florida, I think, in the Las Vegas Bowl. And I think you got that Las Vegas Bowl shirt on right now.
Yeah, I do.
Wearing it proud. Wearing it proud.
Yeah.
What did it mean for you to be able to finish your collegiate career on a high like that?
I get goosebumps, man. No, like I had said, at the end of that 21 season when we played Utah State in the LA Bowl, leading into that game, that was our first trip to a bowl game in, I want to say, the school, like 13 years. Mm-hmm. And so in my mind going into the game, it's like, damn, like I've done it, right? Like when I got to Oregon State, Coach Smith sat me down. I was the first commit in his like staff since they got there. And so I was really a part of, okay, we got to change some things. And so I remember him sitting me down and telling me, listen, this place is in a rough spot, but I have a plan. And every time you're getting recruited, coaches are going to give you this story, right? Like they're trying to sell you. And I remember sitting there, and I'd been through the recruiting process once already, keep in mind. So I knew what was BS and what wasn't. So I sat there and I listened to this man, and he laid it out for me, like he step by step. It's going to take a few years. We're not going to win in the beginning. Where he was point blank. He was up front. And I remember walking out of that meeting, and typically when I would walk out of those meetings in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, this was BS. This wasn't. This was. And I walked out of the meeting. I was like, that man. I saw the look in his eyes. He meant everything he said. And so at the end of that 21 season, I really thought, okay, like we did what he had said. We've achieved it. And then we lose to Utah State in the fashion we lost to Utah State. I mean, they kicked our butts. And I think it was after that, I was like, you know what? Like, we haven't. Like, we're there. We're right there. But like, we haven't done everything I wanted to do when I came here. And so to come back this last season, to have the year we had, and honestly, like, I'm a perfectionist, so I'm always going to say there was more. Like we left some things on that field. There were some games that I wish we could have got back, but there were also some games that I don't think anybody could ever watch and say, like, holy crap, that wasn't amazing. Like, I think about the Stanford game. We went on the, like, we've learned how to win in very critical situations. You win on the last play of the game against Stanford. You win on the last play game against Fresno State. You're down 21 points against Oregon, and we come back, run the ball 16 times in a row to beat them, number 15 team in the country, right? So to do all of these things, to even go toe to toe with USC, like to about beat the number 5 team in the country and just come this little short. I mean, even those little things, it's like, wow, okay, this place is different. Like the stadium, when I first got there, we were lucky if we had 10,000 people in there. Now every game this year sold out. Every single, before the season started, every game was sold out. And we only had half the stadium because they were remodeling the whole other half. And it was, I mean, louder than anywhere I'd ever been. It was crazy. I mean, teams are coming in, setting records on false starts. It was awesome. So no, to have the season we had my last year, to win that last game the way we did against an SEC opponent, I mean, it was honestly one of the most spectacular years of my life. Was more than gracious that they had me back, and I was more than appreciative of myself to take the leap of faith, to change positions, and to give this team another chance. And so, yeah, it was a great year. They're gonna have a better one this year. I'm gonna be mad because they're gonna get some rings, but I'll be proud of them, and I'll be cheering them on from the sidelines.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, man. I don't doubt it. And it basically vindicates your entire decision making process of I want to return for another season, like you said, to get another position essentially on tape. And look what you guys do. Look what you guys accomplish.
Yeah.
You come back and you basically right your wrongs from the prior year. That's an awesome experience.
Yeah.
You had the opportunity to participate. You mentioned it before in the NFLPA Bowl as well as the Hula Bowl this year. What were those experiences like for you?
So I didn't actually attend the Hula Bowl. I received an invite to the NFLPA game about a week before the Hula Bowl. Didn't feel like it would make the most sense to do one week and then the following week to go do another. Felt like it'd be a better opportunity for me to spend another week training leading up to the NFLPA game and just go to the PA game. Going to the PA game, man, I had some teammates who had gone to it years prior. Blake Brandell, who actually plays for the Vikings now, who was kind of my mentor when I first got to Oregon State, had played in it, I think in 2019. So I had reached out to him to kind of get an idea what to expect. My O-line coach at Oregon State, he's been doing this for so long, so he kind of knew the process. So he sat me down and kind of gave me a heads up. He's like, listen, this is gonna be one of the most exhausting weeks of your life. Like, make sure you get a lot of sleep the week before. It's gonna be they're gonna tire you out as much as physically can. And I heard it. It was all good. And then week comes, and man, it was an awesome experience, but yeah, it was an exhausting week. I mean, you're doing interviews every night till about 11. You're waking up at about 6:30. You're doing meetings. You're learning a playbook. I mean, the playbook was simple. It was nothing complicated, especially coming from the offense I had ran. But I mean, you're learning a playbook. You're learning how to play with guys, and you got practices. And practices are games at that point. Every team's got a scout there or multiple scouts there. They're all standing 10 feet away from you, and they're all staring at every little move you make on that field, right? And so 4 or 5 days of practice. I mean, these things, it was exhausting, but it was an awesome experience. Met some great people, guys that I think will be friends for a long time. No, it was super cool just to be able to compete with some of these guys who I'm hearing going first round, second round, to compete, just to go toe to toe with these guys on that platform. It was a great opportunity, and I thought I balled out. So I'll never be mad about it.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what's awesome about those college all-star games. You are competing with the best of the best from around the country.
Mhm.
These dudes who are going to, like you said, Blake Brendel, like guys who are going to be playing in the NFL at a high level. It's a cool experience.
Yeah.
You mentioned as well a lot of meetings, right? Of course, you met with a number of teams. I got to say, one of them was the Jets, at least that I've seen. Of course, I have to ask, how did that meeting go? Tell me a little bit about your meeting with the Jets.
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of the meetings are very similar. A lot of the teams are asking you a lot of the same questions. And to be honest with you, a lot of these teams know the answers to the questions they're asking you, but I think what they want to see is how you answer them. Um, I'm a good talker. I mean, I'm good at just expressing what I'm thinking. And so the meetings were never too stressful for me. Sitting down with the Jets was cool. The scout who I interviewed with was a super cool dude, super personable, easy to talk to, and ask you about your background, your family life, how you were raised, who you were raised by. Just a lot of very general questions. Just want to get to know you. About 45 minutes apiece. Uh, yeah, and it was good. I mean, there's a lot though, and then it's repetitive at some point where you're answering the same exact question, the same exact way, 45 minutes apart from one another. Yeah.
Fair enough. Were there any, like, not necessarily from the Jets, but any team, any weird questions you got? I know there's been a lot of like stuff that's come out over the years about weird questions that have been asked. Were you asked anything that was out of the ordinary?
A few. I'm gonna keep them to myself. I don't
Fair
know
enough.
this. I don't know if they want me outing their trade secrets. Nothing like absolutely like, whoa, what did you just ask me? But
Mhm.
I definitely think some scouts have a tactic where they want to get lure you in with the very basic generic questions, and then they're just gonna throw you a curveball and see how you can handle it, see how you respond to it. And so yeah, you get asked a few questions, some questions about teammates that they're looking at they want your perspective on. Um, yeah, but nothing like super wacky where you're just sitting there afterwards scratching your head like, should I be offended? No,
Yeah.
nothing like that.
So it's a big mental game. Like they're just getting your
Oh yeah,
reaction. Said.
yeah.
Uh,
No, the whole thing is.
it's a process, as you know more than I do. So we're a little over a week from the draft. Are there any teams that maybe have shown a little more interest than others? If not, what teams have you met with? I guess outside of like just formally at the NFLPA Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I went up to Seattle this past Thursday and did their local pro day. They reached out to me, invited me up to that. I know my agents heard from a few other teams, Niners and Saints, and some other scouts and stuff. Talked to the Chargers about a week ago on the phone. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a first, second round guy, and so I'm kind of at this point where like I think I'm teetering on some teams draft boards, right? And so for me, it's more about continuing to do what I do, so that regardless to get drafted, undrafted free agent, whatever it is, when that opportunity comes, because I know I'm going to get the opportunity, I know I'll be at a rookie minicamp. When that opportunity comes, I'm competing, and I'm right there with the guy they took in the first round. I'm right there with the guy they took in the third round. And so for me, yeah, it's just been I've heard from teams here and there, but whoever takes me, they're going to get a competitor. And so I think it's more just about being myself day in and day out, and whatever happens, happens.
Hey man, that's all you can do. Control what you can control, like you said. We'll finish it off with a few just quick hitter, like fun, get to know you type questions. First, what are some of your favorite hobbies outside of football? What do you like to do?
Well, I'm currently sitting at a computer, at my gaming computer that I built. I like to tinker with like technology and stuff. I got a wife now and my dog, and so I'd say a hobby is keeping her happy. Uh,
A favorite
we watch,
pastime.
yeah, watch the shows with one another. I'm a pretty relaxed dude. Read here and there. Trying to get a little more financially savvy, and so I've been reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. Been reading it for a while. I need to finish it, but no, I mean, pretty chill dude. If I'm not just playing games, play chess. I mean, I'm kind of a nerd, so been
Fun.
playing chess, trying to get my rating up, man. Gotta grind the rating, but no, I mean, nothing too crazy. No absurd hobbies. I like to cook. But
There
I'm
you
an
go.
alignment. Every alignment likes to cook because we like to eat.
Yeah, that's a standard answer with offensive lineman for sure. You could be the next the next Bobby Fischer in chess,
Yeah.
essentially.
Plus my wife could burn ice, so somebody's got to do it.
There you go. There you go. Any I know you just said you're kind of like a chill guy, but are there any, hidden talents you might have, something that people might not know or might not think you're good at?
Oh, hidden talents. Hidden talent. That's actually a good one. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm a computer wizard, but like, you got an issue with your computer, I'm typically the guy you go to. No, I mean, I got a lot of very random knowledge stored in my brain about random things, but no, I mean, I'm not out here like closet gymnast or anything.
That would, or like a fire breather. Like I'd be like, whoa, what?
No, yeah, no hula dancing, no fire breathing.
Fair
Not
enough.
like, yeah.
You didn't pick that up and you're in Hawaii, I guess.
No, actually, I got stuck on a stage at one point on a recruiting visit in Hawaii on with a bunch of hula dancers and embarrassed myself. And I quickly realized that that's not going to be a hobby for me anytime in my near future.
That's the real reason you left. That was that you couldn't stay. You couldn't.
Well,
Stay
yeah, I had to hide in my dorm room for a few weeks after that.
Yeah. Last one, and I love this question. It's always one of my favorites. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, Baby Got Back by Sir Mix-a-Lot. Baby
Oh,
Got Back
let's go.
Mix-a-Lot. I got every word, every word. Or Live Like You Were Dying by Tim McGraw. Those two
Two
songs.
completely different ends of the spectrum there. I love,
Man,
I love both of those songs.
you should see my song. You should see my Apple Music. I listen to it all.
That's the Idaho in you, that Tim McGraw. That's the Idaho in you.
Oh
Coming.
yeah, 100%, 100%. I'll be with all my teammates and like we'll just be chilling, be listening to Meek Mill, some Drake, and I know all the lyrics, all the words. There's a hidden talent for you. I can memorize a song like that and all the words, and then I'll throw on some Tim McGraw, and they will all just look at me like what, or some Garth Brooks, and like everybody's looking at me like, did you just put this on? I'm like, yeah, bro, this slaps. What are you talking about?
You got like
I got it.
And then like Friends and Love comes on, and it's like
100%, yeah, 100%, and then like a little like Grover Washington, some jazz and mix in there, yeah, 100%, yeah. I got it all. I listen to it all. Yeah.
Very, very cool. Can you hit that? Can you hold that long note at the end of "Live Like You're Dying"? Because I know Tim McGraw. He's got like that long.
Oh, yeah.
You can hold that.
I mean, I won't say that like I'm in tune with it, but like I definitely got the lung capacity to get it out. Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, man. Hey, I appreciate you taking the time, dude. I know you got a really busy schedule ahead. You're like you said, we're like a week away from the draft. And maybe best of luck with everything. Maybe it ends up being the Jets. Who knows? I know we'd love to have you in the park.
I've never been to New York, so I'd love to check it out.
There you go, man. There you go. We'd love to have you. Either way, dude, I appreciate your time. I want to wish you the absolute best of luck next week.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. And Jets fans, thank you so much for watching, listening, whatever you're doing. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We stream live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time on the Jet Press YouTube channel. Until then, I've been Justin Freed. That's been Brandon Kipper. We'll see you guys next time.